Good evening, Joe.
Oh, Ed, what are we doing here?
Well, we are at Wembley Stadium, aren't we?
Wembley.
Exactly. Somehow they've let us in.
Yeah, finally. Year and a half, we've asked every week.
Why are we here, Joe? Why are we here?
We're here for an event, actually. It's part of the FA Cup. The FA Cup? It's not part of the FA Cup. It's part of the FA's Faith and Football Series. We've been invited along tonight to a really exciting event. But before we go to the event, we've been allowed to do a podcast here, Ed.
I know. And look, we're really grateful to all the guys at the FA for inviting us here, but also letting us bring our silly podcast here as well. It's absolutely fantastic. If you are listening to this, make sure you go onto YouTube and watch the video version at Big Man Up Top Pod, where you can actually see us here at Wembley.
Wembley.
What's your favourite Wembley moment, Joe?
Well, my favourite moment, I came here in 2012 for the League Two playoff final, Crew 2, Cheltenham 0. It was so hot. I feel warm now thinking about it.
I thought you were going to say maybe there was a wedding fair or something.
No, not a wedding fair. How about you?
I obviously the Stoke FA Cup semi-final beating Bolton 5-0, which was the greatest day of my life. And actually, speaking of greatest day of my life, this very much feels like a career highlight, doesn't it, Joe?
Oh, what an honour to share it with you.
There's, we can give up now because that's basically it. But yes, here we are at Wembley, and it is freezing, and I think we should go inside.
Let's do it.
Let's go inside. Joe, here we are at Wembley.
Wembley.
How exciting is this?
Yeah, it's our cup final, isn't it?
It does feel a little bit like we will never, ever do anything as good as this ever again.
So enjoy it,
in
I guess.
In our podcast career or in life.
We're in a corporate box. Do you think you'd have a nice time in here, Ed, of a Wembley occasion?
I think so. I mean, we have a stunning view of vending operators 6, vending suppliers 1.
You know what? I've watched a bit of the second half. It was 1-1 at half time, so quite a close fought affair. But the vending, which ones were vending suppliers? Vending suppliers really fell apart in the second half.
They did. We just kept hearing goal after goal after goal, and those vending operators they tore them apart, didn't they? In the end,
they did. It just got towards a damage control state of the game, and they didn't control the damage. They really didn't.
The sad thing about this whole experience is that obviously this is some kind of sponsorship game or something, or like a local league and whatever. But someone scored an own goal today, haven't they, Jeff?
That is devastating to make it 3-1. They didn't say who scored it, but imagine coming to Wembley on a Monday. Do you reckon this is like part of the Christmas do?
Yeah, maybe? Definitely. Yeah.
Score an own goal at Wembley.
Yeah, you get the chance to play at Wembley.
Not many have done that.
And it's absolutely tipping it down, and you've scored an own goal. Yeah, Never mind.
Embarrassing.
But how do you feel to be here in the bowels of the stadium? This isn't the bowels, is it? This is
firmly not the bowels.
This is the posh bit of the stadium. You know?
I feel privileged, Ed. I've never seen this side of Wembley. I've been in that bit, in that end of Wembley before for the playoff final 2012 for League Two. Crewe Alexandra 2, Cheltenham 0.
Yeah.
But to be in this bit, I feel more at home here, I think.
Yeah.
The hospitality.
You feel more at home in the bit where they clearly bring out the nice sausage rolls.
Yeah. Who do you think's been in here?
I reckon a couple of C-listers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe
Gary Lineker's been in here?
No. He's too big time. This is more sort of,
Go on.
Keith Gillespie.
What a shout. Keith Gillespie. Zayn Malik.
Maybe someone off Corrie.
Yeah.
That's got this.
No, I don't know if Corrie's. I think this is too highbrow for even Corrie. I don't know.
Well, it's very nice, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm having a lovely time.
Joe, it feels like we have to mention, because of where we are. I don't know if you know this. We're at Wembley. Wembley.
Gosh,
incredible.
It's massive, isn't it? Isn't it big?
It's flipping huge. So, what I want to know is favourite Wembley moment. of yours?
I mean, I've already mentioned the playoff final.
Yeah.
Nick Powell scored an absolute corker in that goal. That was the first time I've been here, first goal I've ever seen in the flesh at Wembley. Other moments, probably that Luke Shaw goal.
Yeah, that was a big one, wasn't it? That was a big one.
English football peaked at that moment. Maybe.
Yes.
Do you think?
Where were you when Luke Shaw scored that goal?
I was at my friend's house.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a few of us. It was just coming out of COVID, wasn't it? So there was a limit on how many you could watch it with, but we were safely under the limit in his house. We had a barbecue.
Yeah.
I think one of my friends mounted a fence. He tried to jump over the fence in excitement.
Yeah, so I remember I had people around at my house again.
Where was my invite?
Well, I didn't know you then.
True. Yeah.
But I just remember screaming so much at the top of my voice that I scared one of my children, and but also like I had a bit of a funny turn.
Oh.
Yeah. I also had a funny turn at Jude Bellingham's overhead kick as well. So
is it just England excitement?
It's England stress.
Yeah.
Funny turns. Yeah. And it was around that time I went and got my blood pressure checked out by my doctor, which is very important to do. Look after yourselves.
Was everything okay?
I started going on some medication, Joe, if you want to know, but it's fine. It's all under control.
That's good. That's good to hear. But yeah, check your blood pressure. It's important to do that. We will. That is a message that we want to share.
Yeah,
on the Big Man Up Top.
Anyway, goodness me, Wembley. Going back to the Euros final against Italy. Do you remember the Chiellini pullback on Saka?
Oh, do I remember? Gosh, that was livid, absolutely livid.
Yeah, and it's funny, sort of all of these sort of
kind of on this halfway line.
Yeah, exactly. You feel like you're here. You can go and actually have
because he was clean through,
and would have definitely scored.
Definitely would have.
That's I believe. But should we talk about football in general? Obviously we're kind of here, and we're obviously very giddy about the setting. But I think let's do what we're actually paid to do, which is talk about football.
Yeah, I wonder if we start with, obviously on Friday we had our World Cup draw watch along.
Yeah.
Towards the end we were losing the will to live. It was so long, and all the way throughout we were saying, was this a terrible idea? I had fun, but we didn't really have much time to digest the group.
No.
Because we were so keen to get out of there after what we just watched. But what are your initial thoughts on Croatia, Ghana, Panama?
I think it's about as hard a group as we possibly could have got, in all honesty. I think that Panama are no pushovers, despite being the sort of quote-unquote smallest team that we've been drawn. Croatia, obviously, just a classic England nightmare team to play against.
I can just imagine that being like a really hot day.
Yeah,
everyone's struggling.
Well, it's in Dallas. I think it's sort of 3 p.m. local time.
Is it hot in Dallas?
It's very hot in Dallas. It is going to be. You could very easily see England losing that game, and then all of a sudden we have to get a result against Ghana, a team that we've not played a lot in history. So there's a lot of unpredictability there. I think it's a really, really difficult group, and there'll be a lot of people saying, yeah, but it's England and we should be dominating it. But honestly, if we get out of the group, I'll be very, very happy.
It's one of those groups, isn't it, that, I mean, every group is like this. If you struggle in that first game, it puts so much pressure on your second game. Ghana feels a hard fixture. They've got some very good players. Semenyo, I can imagine him tormenting our fullbacks.
And interestingly, there's a really tight turnaround with the Panama game. Going into then the knockout games as well. So I think it's something like 3 days instead of the sort of 6 days between the first two games. So if we go into that Panama game not being able to rest our first 11, whatever 11 that is, then we're gonna start to struggle, I think, and we'll go into the knockout phases a little bit behind a lot of the other nations.
But that's next summer's problem.
It is. Can we touch on Scotland?
Yeah, sure.
Because actually, I think that I've been thinking about this. I think Scotland fans, of course, they're delighted with they've got Brazil, which is
that's what you
great.
Want. That's what you want.
You're going to write that off as a defeat, obviously, but just the World Cup experience, you want to play Brazil, and there's something very Scotland about drawing Brazil. But actually, I think that they're in quite a nicer position in terms of their group than England are, because they have Haiti in their first game. And I think that you're looking at Haiti and thinking, yep, Scotland should win that one. They should, they'll turn up because of course they will. And if let's say they get 3 points against Haiti, then all they need realistically is just to get a point against either Morocco or Brazil. I know that's not an easy thing to do, but it sets them up, doesn't it, really, for the rest of the tournament?
Yeah, I think that's just the look of the draw as well, the way these fixtures fall. You can almost see that Haiti game as probably a banker. I think they'd be very disappointed not to win that game. And then every team wants to play Brazil in the World Cup. They just have this aura about them. There's this thing that whenever Brazil play, the World Cup has started. It's a glamorous fixture. Scotland are going to be well up for it. They're in a great position. But that was Friday's action, Ed. There was a lot more action over the weekend, wasn't there? A dramatic weekend in the Premier League.
Yeah, huge. I think we should. Should we start? I think we should start with the game of the weekend, which I think was Aston Villa getting a home win against Arsenal. Absolutely massive result for them in terms of them. First of all, just sort of cementing themselves as a team very much in the title mix, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. And I feel wary of putting that on them. I think a lot of people will be saying they're in the title race. You have to, because they're 3 points behind now. They've just beaten the nailed-on favourites for the title. But Villa love playing Arsenal at Villa Park. They get a result every time, and they were so good in this game. They were brilliant.
They just have this... the thing about Villa when they're playing really, really well is that they are just so balanced, aren't they? They are looking really solid. They've got a superb midfield that really takes control of games, but going forward they just look really dynamic. Ollie Watkins again looking superb, wasn't he?
Yeah, looking back to his best, and we've not seen peak Ollie Watkins for a long time in the Premier League, and purely selfishly from an England perspective, that's great to see. Him and Foden seem to be the standout players for England right now. But yeah, he looked great. The thing about Villa is, you think back over the last few years, they've not made any major signings, have they? You think of their starting lineup, and it could feasibly have played in the last few seasons. They've made the odd signing. They've had Sancho and Elliott, who haven't really hit the ground running there, but they've got such a solid midfield. They've not changed their team that much, and I think the consistency of that team is why they're doing so well.
And interestingly, they sort of went on this quite late run at the end of last season, and I wonder if they sort of started this run early. They kind of got their bad spell out of the way very, very early on, first 4 games or something, and then now they're getting up ahead of steam. And yeah, I feel like they're almost everyone's second favourite team now as well.
I think so. Yeah, it's hard to dislike them. I think they're. I'm sure people do. I'm sure Birmingham fans,
undoubtedly,
Wolves fans dislike Aston Villa, but they're a very likeable team.
So, classic question: how much of this game was Villa looking absolutely stunning, and Arsenal kind of throwing it away a little bit?
Yeah, I think throwing it away is a tad harsh. I think they weren't bad in this game. The worrying sign for them will be that winning goal, because they just couldn't get rid of the ball. You think of Arsenal this year, and it's a solid defence, isn't it? They've conceded hardly any goals. They know what they're doing at the back. Yes, there's injuries, but every team has injuries. But their injuries have been at the heart of that defence, and the way they couldn't get rid of that goal, the chaos at the end is what's going to concern Arteta the most.
Because he's the kind of manager who we've mentioned this before with the set pieces. He's a bit of a, and I mean this in the best possible way, he's a bit of a control freak, isn't he? He wants to control every single variable that he can. And you're absolutely right. You don't want to leave things to a goalmouth scramble at the end of the game.
And that's been him for the last 5 years. He wants to be able to control every element. And he wasn't able to do that in this game. There's going to be games where he can't do that. Another concern for him will be that Mikel Merino started up front, wasn't effective. I don't think you can rely on him every game, despite how good he's been. He is an auxiliary forward. Brought Gyökeres on, and you think he would make a difference, and he didn't. Again, Eze, I think when everyone's fit, everyone wants Eze on that left wing, and it just didn't work. He didn't find a way through.
And I think looking more macro with Arsenal, you don't want to be the people that are saying this, but sort of looking like they're bottling it. And this was just a couple of weeks ago. We were saying it's their title to lose. Maybe slightly tongue-in-cheek, I don't know. But they had a six-point gap, and it has just gone like that, hasn't it?
It has, and I think this is turning into a bit of a mental thing. We know they have the quality, that we know they're solid, but the narrative around Arsenal is that they haven't done this before and they need to stay mentally strong. City are breathing down their neck. Comfortable win for them this weekend, and they looked really good. The mental shift now from being 6 points ahead in control, no one coming close, to suddenly 2 points ahead of a City team who are looking back to their best. That's where the bottling word is very tongue-in-cheek, but it works. It describes what's happened.
It does, and that is the difference. Is you look at those classic Premier League teams, you look at Man United in the 90s, you look at Chelsea and even Arsenal under Wenger in their pomp, and they did not surrender those kind of leads. And you just unfortunately don't have the confidence that Arsenal that are going to hold on to a decent lead at the top of the Premier League, unfortunately.
Yeah, and Arteta's got some work to do there. He's got his ways, he's got his techniques to keep this squad strong. This isn't a crisis moment at all, but it could be the start of one, and he needs to be very careful that the mentality of this team doesn't slip.
Let's move on to Leeds United 3, Liverpool 3. Goodness me, we talked about great games with Arsenal Villa. This was, for the neutral, was a roller coaster, wasn't it?
So good. A great game, and from a Liverpool fan perspective, awful. Like, really awful. They were 2-0 up. Ekitike proving why he should be starting every game. He was so good. He did everything right. First goal, he pounced on a mistake, which you have to do. Second goal, quickly hit them with the second. It was looking set for a boring professional performance from Liverpool. I was almost starting to relax until Konate got involved.
So that's what I'm going to say. Where did it go wrong? Was it just that horror tackle from Konate?
Yeah, it was. And I think
horror tackle is probably not the right word. Just stupid tackle, wasn't it? Really unnecessary going to ground in the penalty area.
100%. It was just a silly moment. He doesn't need to go to ground there. Nonto's got the ball. Yes, he's a good player. He's in a dangerous position, but Liverpool have 9 players in the box, and I don't even know why he goes to ground. He can just shepherd him out. He can, stand up to him, and he just goes to ground, and you're just there like, why have you done that? Because as soon as that penalty goes in, and the penalty wasn't even that good, I think Alisson could actually have done a bit better there, but as soon as that goes in, you just know they're getting an equaliser. Like, that is the mentality of Liverpool right now, that one goal goes in, another one is to follow.
And so obviously Leeds claw it back to 2-2. Somehow Liverpool take a lead to go 3-2 up, and again they let a lead slip and let in a very, very late goal, don't they?
From a set piece again, which has been the problem. And again, Konate not standing up to his man. I think Gravenberch could have done a lot better as well. Just a real sucker punch. Arne Slot will be livid that is how they have conceded. And the thing is, Arne Slot didn't make too many mistakes in this game. I think his changes actually, there's been a lot of chat about Salah, which we'll come on to. You think of all the subs he made, and they made sense in the moment. To bring Endo on to secure that lead, he's not really done that this season. He's not made changes to consolidate this lead. He brought McAllister on. This draw wasn't Arne Slot's fault at all. He set this team up well. The system he is employing is starting to work a little bit. This is slightly tongue-in-cheek, but 3 games unbeaten. Which
goodness gracious,
but that's
a stretch, Joe. Come on,
100%. But that's the narrative coming from the ownership this weekend.
Right.
Is that they are happy with Arne Slot's new system, which is Szoboszlai on the right coming into midfield. They are happy that it's producing more results than the last system was. They've gone so many games where they've lost. And yeah, it's laughable to say 3 games unbeaten, but it's a momentum.
Listen, you have to take the positives where you can. Fair play. You touched on Salah there. that's obviously been one of the big talking points. 3 games unbeaten, but actually 3 games of Mo Salah, club legend, not starting. And this all sort of erupted in a post-match interview, didn't it?
It did, and it's got messy. It's got so messy. And it's really hard. Salah does not speak to the media unless there's an agenda. This is something we've seen over the last however many years. He doesn't do post-match unless he's had a really good game and he has to accept his Man of the Match award.
Yeah.
He only really speaks to the journalists when he's got something he wants to say. Maybe agenda is a bit too strong, but when there's something he wants to say, he will find a journalist. He found a Norwegian TV channel to direct this at.
As you do.
As you do. And yeah, he did this with contracts last year. He said, this is my last season because I'm not getting the money, whatever. Then he gets his contract. So this feels slightly calculated. I think he knew what he was doing going into this. If you didn't catch this, he's basically come out and said, Liverpool have thrown me under the bus. They are making me a scapegoat. I don't understand why I've been benched these last 3 games, and my relationship with Arne Slot is broken.
So we were chatting before we started recording about this whole thing with Mo Salah, and I was sort of saying I understand why Mo Salah might be frustrated, and when he says Liverpool have thrown me under the bus, I kind of get it, in the sense that I do think that is the narrative that has come out from the way that this has been handled. I think ultimately the way that Arne Slot and Klopp to a certain extent before him, they have just lent on Mo Salah, and every important game he's there, he rarely gets rested. He plays so often that if you then all of a sudden don't play him for 3 matches in a row, it does look like you've benched him, and it does look like you're pinning the blame on him, because there's been just sort of erratic selection everywhere else in terms of Isak and Ekitike, that actually all of a sudden you go, no, we're not picking you, Mo Salah, for 3 games. I can totally get why he thinks, oh, they're using me as a scapegoat, they're throwing me under the bus. But ultimately, as a professional, you cannot come out and say the things he said, and that is the only thing that's going to come out of this. Really, is essentially a tarnishing of his status as a Liverpool legend, and I just think that's really sad.
It's really sad. I think that's the overarching emotion, and this is just really sad. It shouldn't end this way, but it's unfeasible to think that both Slot and Salah will be there next season. One of them's going to have to go, and that is really sad. I think what it is, this actually strengthens Slot's position a little bit, because the ownership have come out and said we support Slot in his decisions. Slot now, the talk is, we record this on a Monday at Wembley.
Good one. Good mention. In case you've forgotten, we're here at Wembley.
We record this on a Monday, and the chat is that Slot isn't in the Champions League squad for Inter on Tuesday night.
Salah, you mean? Sorry.
Did I say Slot?
You said Slot.
Slot's definitely going. It'd be weird if he didn't. Salah's not in the squad for Inter. So Slot has to double down here. He can't just pick Salah now because he looks like he's weak.
Yeah.
I think what's happened here, Slot came in at the start of last season. The ownership changed the start of last season. FSG are known for being brutal. They are known for not being sentimental about club legends and players. They are known for, when a player is past his peak, we need to get rid of them so we don't lose value.
Yeah.
What they didn't see happening was Mo Salah having an unbelievable season last year. I think in their, and this is probably speculation, but in their ideal scenario, Salah has a bit more of a mid-season last year, and they can wave him off in a really nice way at the end of the season. Because his contract's out. It got to a stage last year where it was unthinkable that you couldn't give Mo Salah a contract. They've made him a load of promises about starting games. That's not happened. I think that's why this has happened. And like you say, as soon as Salah says these things, he's crossed the line. And I think he had me all the way up until he said, I've already earned my place And I don't think you can say that.
And you're absolutely right. And I think he has. You know, he has often at times he has carried this Liverpool team.
Yeah, he has.
He's scored goals and earned points for Liverpool when there's been no other way through. So he definitely has. But there's just something about, you can't say that, can you? Like, don't actually say it. You know, even if he has earned a starting place in every Liverpool side, you just can't come out and say it.
I don't know if you can earn your place forever, though. I think he's earned the right to be treated a lot better than he says he is being treated.
Yeah.
I think he's earned the right to not be benched 3 games in a row when Liverpool are struggling. I think that's what it is. No one, and Liverpool fans feel very strongly about no one being bigger than the club. And I think
very important, yeah.
Every supporter probably thinks that about their team. No one is bigger than their club, and Salah is speaking like he is, and that's a problem.
Absolutely, absolutely. Do you think... Take this bit out, let me reset. We're here at Wembley.
We are.
For this amazing event tonight, which we'll cover later on, a celebration of Christianity. And
it does look lovely, doesn't it?
It looks beautiful.
It's so nice.
So this event that is being put on by the FA, which is a celebration of Christianity in football, for some reason we've been invited, which feels...
It's important to stress that we've been invited here. We didn't force our way in here.
No.
They said, would you like to come?
Would you like to come? Which is incredible.
Wow.
Hence why we're here. Now, this evening is being hosted by a friend of the podcast, Simon Thomas.
Yes.
Who's been on a couple of times already. And interestingly, Simon Thomas has been talking for a long time, since the very start of the season, since the events of the summer, about the effects of Diogo Jota's death on Liverpool. And to be fair to Simon, he's been saying this for a long time. This is going to affect the players. And now that we've seen this sort of quite stark downturn in Liverpool's fortunes, is Simon's very, very, quite rightly saying, I said this would happen. And it really does seem like we've underplayed the part that grief is playing in not just the Liverpool squad, but maybe in Mo Salah's performances too.
Yeah, I think so. And Mo Salah was very close to Diogo Jota. He's been with him for 5 years at Liverpool since they signed, played together so much. And you saw the start of the season, Liverpool beat Bournemouth 4-2, and Salah stays out on the pitch afterwards, applauding Liverpool fans after they were singing Jota's name, and he's very emotional. He's really emotional. He's crying. You can see this is visibly affecting him. Almost this release of, this happened in the summer. We've had so long to grieve, and finally we've got this moment with the fans where we can grieve together. Now, grief affects everyone in such a different way, and this is why I think a lot of people, us included, are quite wary of kind of saying too much about this, because who are we to say how grief affects someone and how they should perform, right? But it's quite clear that Salah is very emotional about this response. He is emotional, he's angry, and we can't say what role grief has had in this. Maybe it's not at all. Maybe this is a separate thing completely. But I think it's hard to judge someone when such a big thing is involved.
And it's not just sort of grief about the loss of a friend, although that is definitely part of it. But it's also sort of grieving for the loss of what that does to yourself as well. There's grief comes in many different forms, and how that is outworking in different people is entirely different from person to person, isn't it?
It is, and I think you just have to put yourself in that position of, if you are grieving, and again, everyone responds differently. If you're grieving, you go to work and your manager is having a go at you. You are going to respond differently in that moment than when you're feeling, when you're more emotionally stable.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just really hard to know how to analyse this.
I think talking about Mo Salah and the rest of the Liverpool players, because it's been sort of 6 months or so, hasn't it, since the death of Diogo Jota? And I think it's safe to say that actually there's one of those tropes that you often hear is about time's a healer, and each day will be better than the one before, and all that. And actually, for anybody who's lost a dear loved one, some of you will say that actually that isn't always the case. Is that sometimes it can be years, and you can think, I'm no better than I was, the day after this person died. And I think that actually, like, we can sort of throw out a lot of these sort of, sentiments, but what our Christian faith talks about is about how God draws near to those who are mourning, and how it doesn't necessarily say, pray to God and he'll take away your grief. He says that he draws near to you. And I think all we can do as Christians is mourn with those who mourn, just like God says he does with us. And that, it may not be an overnight thing. You can't exactly accelerate the grief process, get it out of the way quicker, but you just have to, just promise to be with somebody while they're going through that.
Yeah, that's good. And when you say mourn with someone that mourns, that's about, I think for me, that's about not having expectations of that person. If you're mourning with them, like you say, grief isn't linear. If you're mourning with someone, you might be with them one day and things are okay, then the next day they're not as good as they were yesterday. And to mourn with that person is to be like, okay, I'm here with you right now, and I have no expectations from you in this moment. I'm just here with you. And I think there's a really interesting point you made there about this not being a linear thing, that the Liverpool players have gone to Leeds this weekend for a game. The last time they went to Leeds, it was a big win. Diogo Jota played very well. And the thing about grief is, going back there will remind them of that time Jota was there playing really well. So it's going to keep cropping up more and more throughout the season as they go to more places where they are reminded by Jota. And I think it's just about not expecting the best from them.
Absolutely. And I think that, there needs to be more discussion around this. Like I said before, Simon Thomas has spoken a lot about it on his social media, but I think that generally speaking, there hasn't really been that conversation in the football media, in the sports media, about the fact that actually a lot of these players are going to be going through a trauma at the moment. They're going to be processing their own grief, and they're just told to crack on and go and win the title again. And we shouldn't expect Liverpool to be performing at the same level as they did last year.
So Ed, we aren't just at Wembley for a laugh.
Are we not?
No, we've not just come here for the day because we felt like going to Wembley, but we are actually here on business.
On business.
We have been invited to an event tonight as part of the FA's Faith and Football series. We are going to be gathering with a number of Christians tonight who are involved in the football game.
And can I just say, on the big screens outside in the stadium, it does say the FA's Faith and Football series. The FA for all.
For all.
So there you go. It's quite exciting because that's the event that we're here for.
There's a buffet as well. Excited for that.
Yeah, that was the moment where we were sold on coming down, wasn't it?
It said a full complimentary buffet.
That's very exciting.
What does that mean?
I don't know. But
not just a half.
But we're joined by a special guest, aren't we, today, Joe?
We are about to be joined by Dal Darroch, who he works for the FA in their Equality, Diversity and Inclusion team. He's going to come along and he's going to talk to us about what tonight is all about and his involvement in this series.
We are absolutely delighted to be here at Wembley, and we're joined by Dal Darroch from the FA. Dal, tell us a little bit, first of all, about what you do here at the FA.
So my role is I'm the head of diversity and inclusion strategic programs. So what that really means is that I look after the equality and diversity and inclusion strategy for English football, and that covers the grassroots game right up to the elite level across different disciplines of the game. So whether it's grassroots football playing participants, coaches, referees, like very much looking at it holistically.
Tell us a little bit about the event that we've got coming up later tonight here at Wembley.
Yeah, so the Faith and Football series Christmas event takes place tonight, which is why you guys are here. against the backdrop of the wonderful Wembley Stadium, the hallowed turf behind you.
Stunning, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the kind of view you don't typically get bored of.
No.
Tonight we have 800 or so Christians from across the country, from every denomination. In fact, people from every walk of faith coming together that are a combination of church bodies, Christian communities across different parts of the country, as well as football stakeholders, all coming together to celebrate what has become an award-winning part of our programme for equality in the game, which is celebrating faith and football. So the Faith and Football series now has been running for a number of years, and this is our celebration tonight for Christmas in particular.
And so why is it so important that the FA are interested in faith groups and supporting faith groups in this way? Because it's an incredible event that you're doing tonight, and I'm sure I've seen other events around Ramadan and around other religions as well. Why is it so important for the FA to do events like this?
It's important because what we know is that our country, the participants, those that partake in football in some way, whether you're a fan, referee, coach, volunteer, parent, elite professional, whatever it might be, many of us across the country follow a particular faith. And so what that means is that it's a big part of our identity. So many people say, before I'm a mother or a father or a brother or a sister, I'm a Christian first, or I'm a Muslim first, or I'm a member of the Jewish community first. And so we wanted to find a way in which we can continue to connect with communities. And one of the ways to do that, especially with underrepresented communities, is via their faith. And so you're right, we've done these type of connection events now with every major faith in the country. And it's really a way of them coming into Wembley, being part of the infrastructure here, but also acknowledging who they are, their whole self and their faith, alongside their love of the game. Because we'll have people here that are either coaches, referees, players, volunteers, the plethora of people that work across their identity from a faith point of view, but also their connection to football. So it's a bit of a no-brainer, really. And while there are events where people come together and it's multiple thousands of people over the last few years, the point of it is that it generates better dialogue. There's more trust building, better narrative around football being welcoming and inclusive. When you put all of those things together, then we have more people from faith communities actually embrace our game, that then take up coaching courses or go into refereeing or get the children into football. Whatever it might be, is using football as a means to become physically active and healthy.
I'm interested, Dal, you mentioned at the start about the grassroots game as well. Do you see that as just as important as, the professional levels of the game? Are you seeing things in the grassroots game that you're encouraged by?
Yeah, the grassroots game is bigger than the elite side of the game. So when you put that into perspective, we're talking about 15.7 million participants of football in this country, 100,000 plus grassroots teams. And of course, from a spectator point of view, it's 30 million plus people. So when things work really well at grassroots level, that is a really good indication that the general population are embracing a particular, program or initiative. And a lot of the stakeholders that you'll see tonight for the Christmas event, a celebration of Christianity and football, they are grassroots organisations, they're faith-based organisations. They're not in the stands of major stadiums or, playing in the Premier League or in the top professional divisions. These are people that are engaging with local communities that are part of a local church group or, whatever it might be. And it's us celebrating who they are and what they do, because it's the unsung heroes across the country that are really developing the faith and football agenda.
That's great.
And it's about, in my mind anyway, tell me if I'm wrong, but it's about making sure that people are aware that this game isn't for a select few, but it's for everybody, isn't it? And I imagine that's the whole sort of ethos of the FA's inclusion programs is to just be as welcoming as possible. Yeah,
and the Faith and Football program is one program of many, various programs we've got across football as a whole. But it is special, and it's special to our heart across the EDI team, because we get to see people really enjoying them. And some of them have, coming to Wembley for the first time, and there's pitchside prayer, and there'll be worship down there, and there'll be some hymns sung. And what's really made Faith and Football really special is the faith element down at pitchside. So we've had the Sikar Das, which is the prayers recited at pitchside. We've had the call to prayer after Ramadan. We've had the Jewish community with the chief rabbi here in the past that have done prayers for Hanukkah. We've had the Buddhist community. We've had the Diwali event that we had last year with the Hindu community, all doing, arti at pitch side. And of course, we've had prayer and order of service for the Christian community as well. So it's really, really powerful, and that's why people love it.
My final question: are you a football fan, Dal?
Depends who you ask. It depends who you ask. Yes, I am a football fan. I'm a very proud third generation Black Country lad.
Oh yes,
and
my wife's family are Black Country as well.
Okay, it depends though which part, because we might not get on.
West Brom.
Oh, that's the worst one. So I'm so originally from the Black Country, the Wolverhampton Walsall side.
Right.
So I am a Wolves fan, and if I'd known that, I wouldn't have done this.
Oh mate, I'm a Stoke fan as well. Like it couldn't be couldn't be worse.
Gosh.
But listen, we welcome all
clubs,
supporters of all clubs on this.
Some are more welcome than others.
Absolutely.
But no, good to have some Midlands people then.
Well,
Absolutely. And my final question: do you have a favourite moment or a goal that you've seen here at Wembley? Because this is where we are, and this is the place that creates memories, I think. So, is there a particular standout? Memory.
100%. I think lots of standout moments here. When you're seeing England and you're seeing all the FA Cup finals. A big moment was coming here and seeing United beat City, because my son's a United fan. So that was nice in the FA Cup. But also, I think the most special was probably seeing the Lionesses win the Euros for the first time down there, on home ground. And it was tremendous. And it was probably one of the best atmospheres I've ever seen. And I've been across football in many spaces, and I think that was truly one of the most special moments that I've seen here at Wembley anyway.
Dal, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Pleasure.
It's lovely to be joined by Dal.
Yeah, wasn't he a tremendous guy? I was obsessed with the fact that I was thinking sort of him being from down here.
Yes.
Down in London.
London. Sorry, just moving the mic away a little bit.
Yeah. Calm down. I thought he's going to be an Arsenal fan or something similar. Sure. And actually, it's just great that even though he's a Wolves fan, we do forgive him.
We do, and I feel like if we had more time with him, we could have got into what's going on at Wolves this season. Only 2 points.
A great chat, but Dal has been really, really generous and hospitable, and helped us, come and record here at Wembley, which is incredible.
And he has a real heart for inclusion within football. It's a big part of his role at the FA. Why do you think these kind of events are important in football?
Well, I think it's really interesting that there's so much talk about the game being welcoming or not being welcoming. I think we've all, as football fans, got experiences of being inside a football stadium and somebody directing some kind of abuse at somebody else, whether that be for the way they look, whether that be for the way they play, whatever it is. I think we can all sort of say, look, there are moments where football isn't welcoming, and equally, we all love the game. It's the game we love, and we want people to feel included in that. We want people to be able to play the game, but also come and watch the game in these stadiums and feel like it's a game for them, regardless of where they're from or regardless of what religion they follow, whatever that may be. And so, that's sort of the basic level is we don't want to see people discriminated against.
Yeah.
And so I think that for me as a Christian, I think this is really, really important that we, everybody is made in the image of God. And as a result, we need to be doing all we can. We need to be supporting initiatives that are fighting against discrimination. Yeah,
because I think there's been a few kind of campaigns, right, over the years. I think immediately of Kick It Out, the racism campaign, and they do some great things highlighting the issue of racism in football. There was we've had things like taking the knee at the start of games throughout COVID, that kind of thing. But I think criticism is a strong word here, but there's been kind of conversation around that as maybe they are gestures that aren't going further, right? Like this is highlighting racism, but then the football starts. What can we be doing, particularly in the Christian space, maybe, of encouraging that action is taken rather than it's just like slightly highlighted?
Well, I think that ultimately it's about supporting initiatives that we know are working. You know, Dal spoke an awful lot about what the FA are doing here. And I think, you know, sort of putting on events to make sure that you know that people feel welcome and accepted. It's incredible that we are later on this evening going to go down pitch side and worship God in Wembley Stadium. That is amazing. I'm, as a Christian, delighted that this is taking place. It makes me as a Christian feel welcomed. It makes me feel like football is for me, and you know, and the FA and England and the home of football wants me here. And I think that that's a really, really powerful statement. And so for me, it's all about, what can we do that is more than just symbolic, but the symbolism is really important as well.
100%.
Because it highlights that that this game is for everybody. What we do on top of that is another question entirely. Obviously, there are people who are much more learned than I that can speak into that. But I think that ultimately it's about us finding initiatives where they're taking place and where something is important to us and where it's on our heart to do so. Because I think that we can't just sort of fake, you know, the niceties. Oh yeah, wouldn't it be nice if? But actually, where there's an issue that we are passionate about, we need to stand behind people, and we need to, you know, fight discrimination in all its forms, really.
And what really encouraged me about that chat with Dal is, and I picked up on it in the interview, his heart isn't just for these big stages, right? He's not just thinking about the FA Cup finals at Wembley. He's not just thinking about the Premier League. His first mention was grassroots football, and that really excites me because that is a level of football that we can all get involved in. We can get down to your local non-league team. Maybe you are a parent and your child plays on a Sunday league team, and sadly, there's going to be discrimination there as well, right? And that is where, as Christians, we can get involved, right? We don't need to see this as a big thing that big organisations need to get involved in. We can pray on the sidelines, although that is good. There are places here where we can get involved physically. We can stand up for things that we believe in, and we can fight back against discrimination where we are. This
is a real hot button issue that actually we need to know how are we going to approach this. And I just think ultimately we have to approach it as Christians from a viewpoint of we stand against discrimination in whatever form it takes.
Well, thank you so much for listening to the Big Man Up Top. We really appreciate you tuning in and getting involved. Please leave us a 5-star review on your chosen podcast platform. Get involved at Big Man Up Top Pod on YouTube. And Ed, what else is there to say?
Nothing. Just thank you for listening. Thank you very much to the FA for inviting us here to Wembley. It is freezing, so we need to get back in. And also, there is apparently a buffet this evening, which is what I'm very, very excited about. They're getting ready for worship later tonight here at Wembley Stadium at pitchside. We're going to be looking forward to that. And just thank you for joining us, and we shall see you soon.
And a big thank you to producer Tom for holding all the torches, for the lighting, for doing the cameras, doing the microphones. You are a legend. There'll be an episode next week.
See you soon.
Bye.